Hey, I like how there's a fourth window. It's fine, Joel. Don't worry about it. Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass room and gaming podcast for Alpha Idiots. And this is a BARF review, backlog accomplishment with Respawn and friends, of the Outer Worlds, not the Outer Wilds. We're not going to play a boring game that's pretentious. We're going to play something that's Bethesda-like. I'm one of your hosts, Adam. I'll tell you about Grubhub in a minute, Gumbert. And today we have with us Joel. Hope you had a better experience today with customer service than I did. Campos.
I had zero experience with customer service, which is probably my preferred day and level of customer service every day.
You're doing it right. I didn't mean to. We also have with us Alex, going to see June Diane Rayfield later this week. What's your last name? Kazina.
Kazina. I'm glad that you remembered my last name. Yeah, I mean, today's a sad day. Chad, tragically, before this review, was swallowed up by the void. That's why both his face and even his nameplate in our 4-person overlay was just completely obliterated from the universe. But I have some good news. I got a popper. And because the Liberals won in Canada, we're having a popper tonight.
Oh, wow, because the Liberals won. Yeah, so everyone today, real quick, we're going to talk about the Outer Worlds in review. We played it this past month. We have thoughts about it. First up, when I said customer service, right? Here's the thing. I ordered they were recording at Cinco de Mayo. That doesn't matter. I like Mexican food regardless. And they was like, okay, I ordered my food. Food was 30 minutes late. Cool, I got a refund for that. That's fine. But then it was like, is there any other problems with your order? I'm like, yes, my food is cold because it's 30 fucking minutes late. And I went in there, it had me talk to the little chat guy or whatever, and he pulled it up. He said, all right, let me look at that issue for you. Replied back, sorry, there's nothing we can do. Is there anything else today? I was just like, I guess not, bro, is literally what I wrote this man.
You should have asked him you should have been like, yeah, can you come pick this up and heat it up for me?
Yeah, what are we doing here? But my issue is not with, I mean, that's just either a person or a robot doing their job. That's not a problem. Why have the option to say my food is cold if you're not going to refund me? You don't have to give me all the money. You can give me $5 credit and I'll shut up. But why even put it as an option if you're saying, oh, your food's cold, we can't do anything about it? So why the fuck is it an option on the website?
Yeah. For future reference, I did not hear what you just said, that last part. I realized I was not recording my audio in Audacity, so I started that.
What?
So, yeah.
Oh, this
Big ups. I also was not
Chad.
recording my audio.
I literally realized a moment before we went completely live. This is what happens when Chad gets consumed by the void, is that we just fall apart. Chad, wherever you are out there across time and space, we hope that you return to us one day.
I hope this transmission is reaching him. That's my main concern.
There we go. So some information on the Outer Worlds.
That's the transmission.
Yeah, that's what it was. The Outer Worlds is a 2019 action role-playing game developed by Obsidian and published by Private Division before they were bought by Microsoft. It's first-person, RPG. It is released on everything: PlayStation, Xbox, whatever. It's come all out.
Switch? Is it on the Switch?
It's on the Switch?
It is on the Switch. I don't know what that version plays like, but
we're about to find out.
The game has an 85 on Metacritic. So regardless of the thing that Chad wrote in, people actually seem to enjoy this game. But we'll talk about it here. I mean, it's the long and the short of it is Obsidian, makers of Bethesda-like RPGs, aka, Fallout, New Vegas and such, got the chance to make an original IP, but it feels very, excuse me, ooh, that cold beans and rice killing me. It feels very much like a Bethesda RPG, but like a little bite-sized one. So anyways, I guess top level thoughts. I'll go first. I enjoyed it. I have not beaten it because I'm also doing all the DLC. So I'm at the very end of the story, but I want to do the DLC stuff first. But it was still like 25 hours worth of time. And I enjoyed it. This is very fun. I like this kind of game, obviously. I like Bethesda and Obsidian, both those companies, I think, make really cool games. So this was a fun one, especially in space with the kooky sort of, corporations are bad, but in a wacky way, is a fun way to do it. I like the skill trees and the way you can build out a character and have crazy, wacky things happen. I do like it's a smaller bite-sized thing. After I played this game, I went on IGN because IGN first has a bunch of breakdowns of the Outer Worlds too. And what I'll say about the Outer Worlds is like, this is a really cool game. I cannot wait for the sequel. And then I'm watching all the stuff in Outer Worlds 2. I'm like, oh yes, the sequel will be very good. So yeah, this game's fun. I think there's flaws. I mean, it feels like a game that was made with a smaller budget, which is fine. I don't need every game to be a 70-hour RPG. I don't mind a 20-hour one once in a while. But I think that there can be made improvements on the gameplay and some of the other stuff like that. And what I've seen so far in 2 looks like it. So good foundation. I'm excited for the future. Joel, how do you feel about this video game? Top level?
Top level, I love this game. I think Obsidian is killing it just I don't know, making kind of a smaller, I don't want to say bite size because this is still like a pretty hefty game if you go through and do like everything. It's like a dumbed down Fallout, more or less. I don't want to say dumbed down. It's a smaller Fallout game, I would say, with kind of like these smaller set pieces you go to, these different planets you travel to. Between this and Avowed, like I think they're really finding their niche on kind of this smaller type of game in this style. And yeah, I love the game a lot. I did not replay it for this BARF review. Yes, Mr. Hoax in the chat says small out. Yeah, this is very much a small out game.
Shout out to Mr. Hawks, by the way. I've been on his podcast, the Story Motors podcast.
Hawks.
Great guy. Mr. Hawks.
I thought it said Hoax. But yeah, I'm loving these. I guess this and Avowed now. I love both of these games. I have not beat Avowed yet, but I'm getting closest to the end. I'm kind of piecing away at it. But Outer Worlds, yeah, I didn't replay it for this BARF. But I did go back to it. I re-downloaded it because I did not play any of the DLC, and I have some issues with that. But from what I did play, going back to the game, and I just enjoyed it. And yeah, that's where I'll leave it until we talk about like story and DLC stuff.
Cool, cozy.
So, yeah, it's interesting. Last month we did our BARF review of the original Crisis, and on that particular review, we had a range of emotions. Joel being kind of the most critical of that game, and me being, I would say, the least critical. I don't think that game is perfect, but I definitely was probably the most glowing person on that particular review. And this time, things are kind of the inverse. I don't dislike the Outer Worlds. What I wrote on Twitter, not Twitter, Blue Sky, is the Outer Worlds is basically like one of the more boring games that I've been low-key addicted to. I think that the gameplay loop of like leveling up your skill tree, slowly buffing your character, accepting and completing missions, it really had its hooks in me, and I overall enjoyed going through that and seeing the game to its conclusion. But honestly, the world, the lore, many of the characters, but not all the characters, kind of landed with a bit of a thud for me. And, good on Obsidian Entertainment for continuing to remain in business. I'd imagine that The Outer Worlds 2 is going to be a much improved sequel over the first game. But I didn't walk out of this review being like, oh man, I gotta get my hands on The Outer Worlds 2 when it eventually releases. But that is just me.
All right, Joel, you wanted to talk about story and DLC. All right, okay. As someone who hasn't played the DLC yet, but that is the main new thing for me, I want to hear about it, but don't spoil the DLC. I don't know, there's probably not even that much to spoil, but let's talk about the story and the DLC specifically, because I am interested in that one part of the game I have not played.
Quick question. Someone who hasn't played the DLC, I'm assuming that the DLC takes place before the final mission of the game, right? Uh-oh. I think Joel...
Sorry, I was muted. My bad. Yeah, so... And that's the issue, is I have not played the DLC. I tried for a few hours to play the DLC, but I did not. So what happened is I had beaten the game previously, and the game automatically saves for you right before you go into that final... right after you beat the final bad guy, and right before you go to the final cutscene kind of deal, right? It does an auto-save for you right there. Mm-hmm. But I tried to leave that area, could not leave that area. Could not leave the area at all. So, and that was the only save that was on my profile. And so it kind of screwed me because I played the game when it came out, right? Before the DLC came out, probably before the DLC was even announced. And so my save kind of just trapped me in this end like area with where I had. So, okay, so for context, when I loaded the game, I was just in a room with the final boss dead. And my first thought was, oh man, I remember I hated this boss fight. Like I struggled with this because I was like, I didn't have enough ammo or something. I just remember struggling for a long time with it. And I remember I was like, why would it load me right here? I definitely beat this game. And it's like kind of this antiquated method that they're using where it's like, yeah, you need a save that is before that final boss to then go in and play the DLC. And here's my issue is then I was like, all right, I'll restart the game and just play the DLC. But the DLC requires you to be a certain level and be past a certain mission in the campaign to play it. So I was like, well, this sucks. I guess I'm just not going to play this DLC because I'm not going to play, another 10 to 12 hours of the story just to play the DLC. And there's 2 DLC, and I've heard that okay, like probably not like the best thing ever, but I was excited to go back and play the DLC because I'd never played it, but I had bought it after I beat the game because I was like, oh, that game was awesome. I'm going to buy that DLC. And it kind of screwed me. I guess I kind of screwed myself by not just doing a bunch of saves like some of those like RPG sickos do where they save like every 10 minutes. So what I did play is I restarted the game on PC because that's originally where I wanted to pick up my game anyway. But this was before, like Adam said, before Microsoft bought Obsidian. So this was before like cross progression and cross save was a thing between Xbox and PC. So I would have had to start all over. And I don't own the DLC on PC. So I just started from the beginning and played for a few hours, and it runs great on PC. That's for sure. It runs amazing. I did not play the DLC, and it was very, very frustrating to try and figure that out. And I was online on Reddit, so many people with the same issue I was having, where it's like, hey, yeah, I came back to play the DLC, and I just can't. And I don't want to replay the game just to play the DLC. That's insane.
So 2 quick things. One, with regards to your whole DLC situation, I definitely remember doing something very similar back in the day in Fallout 3, where like you have to be out of Vault 101 and be like at a certain level to access some of the DLC areas. And so I remember just like mainlining through those early sections of the game just to get to wherever the DLC island was in that game. With regards to the performance of this game, like I will say I play this game on Xbox Series X. Ran really well there as well. And like, obviously what this game is doing on a technical level is probably not as, dramatic as say what the Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas experiences were offering, where you have this vast open world and like things are like reacting procedurally to how you act in the world at every step. In this world, all the places that you explore are like these much more like smaller and compact open worlds that are much smaller in scale. But even so, I thought it ran actually very well on Xbox, which is definitely a major plus for me because things definitely chugged real bad back in the day in Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, I had some Switch gameplay up a bit ago when we were talking about it. I'll bring it back up, but that is not somewhere I would recommend for anybody to play it. Even if the Switch was the only console you had, I don't think that you're going to have a good time.
The other 3 versions of the game are all in like the high 80s or so on Metacritic. The Switch is like 66, not very high, unfortunately.
Ooh, very cool. Makes By sense. The way, had habanero salsa. Ooh. So, boy, let's go. Okay. As for me, the DLC, because I restarted, had a whole thing. DLC is happening naturally, where it's like, it tells you, like, this is going to be the DLC, but it happens at points in the story where I'm like, okay, cool. So good to know not to finish before I do that. Real quick then, talking about story, characters, whatever. I will start real quick. I like how, like in one of these games where you can make choices and they seem to matter, and it's like, okay, this is like a definitive choice that you make based on, how your character plays. I love that I can't remember the name of the place, The place where there's like the city with the walls, and then like the weird religious dude lives out in the wilderness, and you have to like help one or the other, right?
Stillwater, I believe.
Yeah, it was on Monarch or whatever. So I was just running around doing everything, killing mana queens or whatever. Having that was probably one of the bigger areas in the game. I fully explored and had fun with that. I loved by the end of that quest line.
It's Monarch.
Monarch, yeah. In that quest line, it's like, okay, are you going to side with the religious people or the people in the town? And the way I had my character built out, and because I had done so much in the world, I was like, okay, how about we get rid of the religious cult guy? His second in command takes over. You two make peace. I did everything. I did perfect. Everyone's happy. I'm the hero of the day. Or I could have just been like, well, I'm just going to kill both of these groups and just leave the planet and nothing ever matters again. I like how that you have that ability to help one, help the other, help both, help nobody. So I thought that was fun that I, on my first attempt, just, in my idea, that's the best way to do it because everyone's alive and happy at the end, except for that one guy. So,
if I may, like, I liked trying to be as much of a peacekeeper as possible. I liked going in and being like, what can I do that's the most, like, to borrow from Mass Effect, like Paragon solution in any particular scenario. There were certain moments when playing through the game, though, where I was like, I kind of wish that the game offered me more instances where I would have to choose one side or the other, and I couldn't really kind of compromise. Earlier on in the game, during the whole kind of Stillwater section of the game, you have to choose whether to shut off power to the commune that's living out on the outskirts of the planet, or shut off power to the Saltuna factory. I chose to shut off power with the commune, and it's like, wow, that was a really tough choice, but I'm going to live with it. But then after that, it leads into a series of missions where you can compromise with the Saltuna factory, and the leader of the commune can eventually get put in place at the Saltuna factory. And I was honestly kind of conflicted because I was like, I appreciate, again, being the utmost hero and being able to, allow everyone to have the happiest ending they can possibly have in any situation here. But like, I feel like I almost would have been a little bit more struck in a good way if the game was like, all right, you made that particular decision and now you will have to live with the consequences of this, good and bad.
That's fine. We had opposite because I turned off power to the town.
Oh,
because in this playthrough, I was like, well, fuck all the corporations, obviously. I'm a renegade. I do whatever I want to do. I'm not working for a corporation. And when you shut off the power, you go back there because you have to get something. And either they can fight or you can intimidate them out of not fighting. He's like, well, we don't have power. The town's going to die. It sucks. I'm like, well, sucks to suck, bud. And I just took the shit and left. It was
sucks to suck.
The town is dead. The town is going to be dead in 6 months. And I'm like, well, the people, they got power over there if you want to hang out with them in the wilderness. But that was it. There was no helping out the factory. They're done. That town is dead.
Wow. Too bad for them.
Joel, any more interesting story or gameplay or anything else you guys want to talk about? Cozy, you're already talking, so I guess go ahead and go.
Yeah, I'll just say this. Like, I'm a little bit more on the negative side than you guys. So I'll just kind of put this out here, and then we can kind of switch back to being a little bit more positive, because I do think this game is, like, overall very well crafted. And again, I was low key addicted to this game. I think this game definitely does something right. One of my, like, kind of big complaints with this game is I feel like the game is really lacking in sort of a core kind of central narrative thrust that is really kind of motivating you to kind of keep playing beyond just the dopamine loop of completing missions. What this game's sort of central narrative thrust should be, what its North Star should be, the thing that it should remind you of at every single point, is the Hope, the ship that you got rescued from in the opening hours of the game. The game should constantly remind you, remember, the Hope is why you're doing this. You're trying to rescue the people on the Hope. And I feel like, at least in my experience playing through the game, that the game doesn't really do enough of that. I felt like there were long stretches of the game where that particular plot point got lost, until eventually, in the final hours of the game, you're brought back on the Hope and you manage to rescue it. At least I was able to. I don't know about you guys. But then I thought it kind of, the moment was sort of undercut by the fact that once you rescue the Hope, the game then railroads you into the actual final mission of the game, where you need to rescue the scientist dude from the prison planet. And it's like, this really, like, the Hope should be the sort of core center focus of this entire experience. And it feels like things were kind of mismanaged in that regard. That's just me, but I feel like when I reflect back on the experience and why it didn't totally jive with me, it's that I felt like that was sort of lacking from it. When I think about something like Fallout 3, for example, I think about how much the game plants in your head you have to go and find your father, Liam Neeson. How much in Fallout 4 it's like you have to go and save your son who was cryogenically frozen alongside you and then was kidnapped. And it's like I feel like this game really needed to hammer that in your head. That was my experience with the game, but I understand that not everyone feels the same.
Did you know that there is an achievement tied to just being really dumb in this game? Where
was it like Idiot Savant or whatever?
What is it called? I was just looking it up.
I know there's a thing about, yeah, if your character's
It's
like
called
very
Sunburn.
low, if you're really low intelligence, you get some kind of bonuses for it. Yeah.
It's called Sunburn, and it unlocks dumb dialogue choices. And one of the dumb choices is you end the game early by just flying your ship directly into the sun.
Oh,
and
no.
that just ends the game. It rolls credits.
That's really
and
funny.
that's an achievement. That's an achievement.
Yeah, there's they let you have some fun characters. Again, I've been reading stuff and watching videos on 2, and it's like they're just taking everything into a bit, and like they're doing more. And it's like, I'm so excited for the next game. They changed the skill systems a little bit. You can stealth now, but that kind of stuff is definitely in the second one. They're like, oh yeah, we're doubling down on like having, flaws and weird quirks and all that stuff. That's funny. Yeah, bring that up, Joel. That'll be funny. Joel, but is there any, again, characters, weapon, story moment, anything interesting to you want to point out?
I mean, I love Pavardi. I think that was a really good character. Yeah, like she was always in my party for sure. The ship kind of fucking annoyed me from time to time. Just like, stop talking to me. I don't want to talk to you half the time. I just want to go kill things. Here, yeah, Ada. Here's the ship getting blasted into the sun. It's so goofy. I love it so much. Just directly into the sun. Credits roll.
That is wild. That's a funny. See, I like games that have weird secret endings. It's like that, and even the
it's like Far Cry.
Great. Yeah.
You remember Far Cry had the option where you could just leave right at the beginning?
Yeah, or just stay there. Yeah, you just stood around, and he's like, "Come on."
I'm impressed watching this footage that they actually went through the trouble of like rendering a whole scene. Like they could have just had that been like a text box. You flew into the sun, and you died, but they actually went through the trouble of doing all that, which is impressive.
Yeah, and then credits roll too, which is even funnier.
There we go.
Yeah,
good stuff. But yeah,
I don't know. I'm for sure excited for Outer Worlds 2 though. Like, very excited.
So I will say I like Parvati a lot. My favorite companion, I actually like Nyoka a lot, who is the adventurer / big game hunter who you meet up with on Mardark. I thought, she had a really kind of fun personality. I liked her kind of personal quest line. What I also liked about her, though, is that if you choose to recruit her on Monarch, which you really should, the game does really push you in that direction, and bring her along with you on the planet, she shares all sorts of interesting tidbits about the planet, gives you suggestions for how you should complete missions, and has all sorts of interesting interactions with the other people on the planet that I really appreciated. I feel like in a lot of these games, not just these sorts of like RPGs, but like just games in general with companion characters, you slot the companion characters in your party and maybe they'll have a few unique quips here and there. But like, I feel like it's very rare that you have something as exhaustive as Nyoka, where like she is basically your tour guide to the planet of Monarch and providing all sorts of interesting little quips and chatters here and there. So I really appreciated that. And I feel like my time on that planet was really enriched by her being in my party.
Yeah, kept her the whole time on that planet. I'm like, well, you're the tour guide, so what we're doing. I also like the vicar, whatever was it, Max or whatever?
Yeah,
he's
Vicar Max.
He's like, oh yeah. I just like how violent he is, dude. Like when he's like, help me find this guy so I can learn enlightenment. And he's like, I'm gonna fuck you up. And he just beats that. I let him kill the dude. I was just like, yeah, you got some shit to work through, but I get it. Go pray on the Bible real quick. So yeah, there are some good characters in there. Anything else, boys, before we get out of here? I mean, we talked about 1, we talked about 2.
So 2 things. Number 1, although Chad was subsumed by the void, he did leave behind his own review of this game. Do we want to read it?
Go for it.
All right, I'm gonna summon my best Chad voice.
What's crazy to me is that like he knew he was being sucked by the void, and this is the last He didn't like call his mom and say like he loves her. Didn't. This is the last thing he did. Is he sent this text review to us?
Yeah, these are his final words. This is what we'll write on his tombstone. Bethesda RPGs, and by association, The Outer Worlds, I'll stop, are like Roblox to me. I don't understand how anyone on Earth could play them when there are so many better looking, better feeling, better running games in existence that they could enjoy so much more. But I'm not going to take that away from them, and I will support them playing whatever floats their boat. For me, I played, anyone want to guess how many hours?
5.
Adam Adam read it ahead of time, so he would know. For me, I played 5 hours, and I just couldn't get over the fact that swinging my melee weapon always felt as if I was swinging a wiffle ball bat at a balloon animal, and there was no feeling of impact or audio to amplify the effect, no screen effects, and enemies always just ragdolls. And I had to continue using melee because the gun plate felt like absolute garbage, trash poop. And also every conversation you have with an NPC zooms in really close on the face, which is a double-edged sword because the character models are expressionless. A person screaming about their dead daughter has the exact same expression as an old lady whispering about a can of soup. They are dead inside, period. But I'm glad I played it. I love the smell of popcorn, but I hate eating it. Every couple of years, I will steal a handful of popcorn from a friend at the movies just to reconfirm that I do, in fact, hate eating popcorn. It's been a year and a half since I played Starfield, and I'm glad I got to play this and reaffirm that I don't enjoy these types of RPGs. And that
it wasn't a PlayStation exclusive game, so Chad was going to hate it. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, he's allowed to be wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From time to time, he can't be right all
everyone
the time.
hates it. It's the worst thing of all time.
And final thing that I have prepared, I apologize for hogging the microphone
Can you do
once
Chad's
more.
voice again when you do this?
I don't know if I should because it's technically a segment that I came up with and not Chad. But I have voice actor trivia prepared for a couple of the voice actors in this game. I wanted to do this during the Crisis review, but we forgot/ran out of time. So I want to do it now. So obviously, there are a lot of characters in this game. I could have spent a long time researching all of their various careers, some of the other roles they've done, but instead I decided to just focus on a few characters here and there that seem sort of interesting to me. So Parvati, the fan favorite companion of this game, is of course voiced by Ashley Birch, who of course is Aloy in Horizon, Chloe in the Life is Strange series, Danica in Spider-Man Miles Morales and 2, and Tiny Tina in the Borderlands series.
You know what's also fun about, Ashley Birch is very good. I think my first time seeing an asexual person in media, I think would be Parvati. If I can think back to it. I think that's the first one.
Moving on, Nyoka, my favorite companion character, was voiced by Mara Junot. So here's the thing, I actually don't know. It's Junot, but I'm inclined to pronounce it Junot because that's sort of how you would pronounce it in Français Québécois. But I believe that American big old busted English would be Junot. What do you guys think?
I don't think it also would be Junot either.
I think Junot should not be how anybody should say it, but I don't know.
I think you're probably right, Cozy. Go with your heart.
Mara Junot, noted French actress. I actually don't know that for a fact. Also voices Storm in Marvel Rivals. She voices the characters of Sindel, Serena, and Chris in Mortal Kombat 1. And she voices Giada in Avowed. Do you guys know Giada in Avowed?
Mm-hmm. That's the magic girl, right?
I think so.
Is that
I didn't play Avowed, so I wouldn't know.
Is that
I
the
just
one
saw
that?
that and it's like,
is it the black girl or is it the pink one?
Yeah, it's the black girl.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Vicar Max is voiced by Dave B. Mitchell. He is Dyne in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the Shocker in Insomniac's Spider-Man, Hephaestus in Hades 2, and, most importantly, he is Knuckles in every single Sonic game since 2019.
Whale's Knuckles.
Where's Knuckles?
By the way, whenever you use your special ability to like have your companion do their special attack, his calls were the best. He was like, "Pray for forgiveness. You're not gonna get it from me," and then like shoots him with a shotgun. Oh, it's so fucking good.
Sam the cleaning robot companion, is voiced by Bruce Dinsmore. He is the voice of Binky Barnes in Arthur, the TV series, and a lot of other TV roles beyond that as well. Ada, your companion computer, is voiced by Courtney Taylor, who is, of course, a big name voice actor. She's done Jack in the Mass Effect series. She's Amanda Holiday in Destiny. I only put that in because I thought Chad would be here, but unfortunately, Chad is not here to appreciate it. She is Agatha Harkness in your favorite, Adam, Marvel's Midnight Suns, and she is Callisto in X-Men 97. And finally, Phineas, the scientist dude, is voiced by Peter Michael, who is Broadfoot in the movie The Wild Robot, and Yoda in the Young Jedi Adventures and Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy movie. And that is that for voice actor trivia.
Thank you, Cozy. Very good. That'll be it for our BARF episode, Backlog Accomplishment with Respawn and Friends. We're talking about the Outer Worlds. If we had opinions, listen back to them. I don't remember them. That habanero salsa is still in my palate. Next month, we will be doing... Cozy, I'll let you take it away, because technically it's your pick.
Yes. So I put out a call. I was like, hey guys, I'm really in a Metroid-y mood nowadays as I attempt to complete every single Metroid game that I've not yet played ahead of the release of Metroid Prime 4. I want to play some non-Metroid Metroidvania games. And I asked you to choose between Hollow Knight, Blasphemous, Shadow Complex Remastered, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And you all unanimously, very rare for these BARF reviews, unanimously voted for us to play. Why did it just release from my brain? Hollow Knight. I was like, why? Oh, anyways, Hollow Knight. So we are going to be playing Hollow Knight for the month of May, a game that is very acclaimed, a game that someday, inevitably, possibly, maybe not, might never see a sequel. We will see. And yeah, look forward to that.
All right. Thank you very much. Patreon.com/respawn-fire if you want to be able to vote on those polls that Cozy just talked about. $1 is it. You'll also be able to get a month early access to our special Patreon show, Rafter Dark, where you talk about all kinds of nonsense. Talk about sex, and you talk about nightmarish dreams, and Joel going to more weddings. It's a crazy time over there. So patreon.com/respawn-fire for $1. Come support us. And you'll catch us next week with a regular episode.
Toodaloo.
I suppose, yeah. Get off my porch. Get off my porch, Joel.
Joel, get off the porch. Get off the porch, Joel.